Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Wednesday, July 16th Planning Commission. Please call roll.
Commissioner Woodard,
Present.
Commissioner Williams,
Present.
Commissioner Shook,
Present.
Commissioner Stachel,
Present.
Commissioner Dias,
Present.
Commissioner Black,
Here.
Commissioner Taylor,
Present.
Chairperson Taylor, we have a quorum.
Would you also make note Commissioner Bowditch is here?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is the creed, which will be presented by Commissioner Stachel.
The Newport News Planning Commission is mandated by state law, and its members are appointed by City Council. Section 15.2-2210 of the Code of Virginia states, in part, that every locality shall create a planning commission in order to promote the orderly development of the locality and its environment. The statutory purpose is to improve the public health, safety, convenience, and welfare of the citizens, and to plan the future development of the communities. In serving this statutory purpose, the Commission invites the comments at the public hearing of its interested citizens of matters before it and welcomes your presence. Chairperson Taylor, I move we adopt the agenda before us.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second. Any additions to the agenda? Any questions? The agenda is accepted. The next item on our agenda is the invocation, which will be presented by Commissioner Woodard.
Might we pray? God, we thank you for this opportunity. We pray that you give us the mind to come create ideas for our city. Be with our leaders. Be with us in our discussion on today. Amen.
Amen. Next item on our agenda will be the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Commissioner Black.
Please
Please
stand and
stand.
join me in the pledge to the flag and to our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, continuing with our agenda. We have the minutes from our for our June 4th meeting, and our minutes from the June 18th meeting. I'm sorry?
Work session.
I'm sorry, a correction. Let me repeat this. We have the minutes from our Planning Commission meeting June 4th and our work session on June 18th. Any comments, concerns, or corrections to those minutes?
I make a motion, we accept the minutes as written.
I
Summary.
second.
Okay, both minutes are being accepted as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll accept the minutes as presented to us. All right. With that being said, the next item on our agenda is our public hearing. We have a conditional change of zoning, CZ 2025, TAC 0003, Regal Cinemas Incorporated, and Platinum Management, LLC. And that's going to be presented to us by our planner, Mr. Garcia.
Good afternoon.
Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
So we have application CZ 2025-0003 for a change of zoning from C1 retail commercial to R8 high-density multiple family dwelling with proffers. Regal Cinemas Incorporated is the applicant, and Platinum Management LLC is the applicant. The properties are located at 100 and 115 Regal Way and contain a total of 13.02 acres. Currently, it is occupied by a movie theater and its parking lot. North of the properties are a restaurant, a tire store, a Hallmark store, and the former Farm Fresh Shopping Center and which is being converted to a climate-controlled storage unit on property zone C1 retail commercial. East is a restaurant on property zone C1 retail commercial and the York County line. South of the property, we have single-family homes, part of the Ivy Stone subdivision, and Kiln Creek development on property zone R5, low-density multiple-family dwelling. And to the west, we have the Hilton Garden Inn and single-family homes on property zone C1 retail commercial and R5, low-density multiple-family dwelling, respectively. The One City, One Future 2040 Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map designates the property as being appropriate for high-density residential development, which is intended to provide for the development of multi-story, multiple-family developments. The property has been zoned C1 retail commercial since the citywide comprehensive rezoning became effective on August 1st, 1997. On March 26, 2024, City Council approved a conditional use permit, CU 2023-0011, for the operation of a mini storage warehouse, single entrance interior storage on the adjacent property at 200 Arthur Way. The proposed change of zoning will allow the properties to be developed for high-density multiple-family residential uses. Section 453405 of the zoning ordinance permits a property owner to offer proffers at the time of application for a change of zoning. The subdivision regulations and zoning ordinance provisions for the R8 high-density multiple-family dwelling district require a minimum lot area of 12,000 square feet for multiple attached single-family dwellings, specific lot dimensions, and setbacks in addition to open space requirements. The proposed development layout meets the required lot area, dimensional requirements, and setbacks, as well as the open space requirements. The Department of Engineering has reviewed and accepted the Timmons Group November 19, 2024 analysis of the traffic need associated with the proposed development, showing that it will generate less traffic than the current uses. The properties are part of the corporate center portion of the Villages of King Creek planned residential community. The corporate center was developed in 1995 as part of the Villages of King Creek. The community residential strip, known as Victory Crossing at King Creek, originally anchored by a farm fresh grocery store. The proposed zoning is in keeping with the vision for higher density housing for this area and responds to the City Council's goal to improve the city's housing stock to include a wide range of safe and accessible quality housing choices for residents of all incomes. The applicant has voluntarily provided 3 proffers that will guide the development of the property as an apartment community and will complement the adjacent higher density neighborhoods built recently in your county. The proposed development will continue to be part of the overall Kill Creek Business and Professional Association that participate in the cost share of maintaining the common areas of the Kill Creek development. The applicant has proffered a master plan that shows the retention of a 40-foot wide landscape buffer area between the Ivy Stone subdivision and the property, as well as the abutting commercial area to the north of the property. This will save the mature trees that are an intrinsic part of the area's view. The conceptual plan also shows 4 small parks that will provide green relief within the development. These green areas enhance the residential and corporate center community and add more of a mixed-use component to the center. The applicant proffered a maximum of 327 units in 7 proposed buildings, 5 of which will be 4 stories. 1 is shown as a 3-story structure, and a 2-story, 4-unit townhouse building. As proffered, the design illustrates buildings of a contemporary design with articulated facades, varying heights, roof profiles, and different high-quality materials. The variation of height and the use of balconies and different materials will provide for an architecturally interesting development. In conclusion, the proposed change of zoning is consistent with the One City, One Future 2040 Comprehensive Plan land use map and provides the appropriate residential density that is compatible with the surrounding uses. The proposed proffers are intended to provide a design that is compatible with adjacent neighborhoods. This will add a new housing type in the area that does not alter the overall corporate center concept. It provides more of a mixed-use component to the area with minimal impact to the existing development. Hence, it is recommended that City Planning Commission recommend to City Council approval of change of zoning CZ 2025-0003 for the properties located at 100 and 115 Regal Way from C1 Retail Commercial to R8 High-Density Multiple Family Dwelling with proffers. Are there any questions?
Thank you very much, Saul. Any questions? Yes, Commissioner Williams.
Just to make sure that I'm clear, the actual proffer statement doesn't show the specifics that you say in your report.
The proffer statement is proffering what I'm talking about in the report.
But it also says that they can modify from time to time, provided that such modifications do not alter the basic character and intent. You were very specific in how wide the buffer will be. You're very specific in how many units will be, but I don't see that in the actual proffered statement that it looks like they're going to be signing or was signed.
So it is part of the master plan that is part of the proffers.
But it says they can modify it.
Yes, there could be some modifications, but minor modifications that would have to be approved by the director of planning.
So like if they wanted to tear down the townhouses and build another apartment building, they could do it without coming back to
That
planning?
would be a major change. And it will be changing the proffered units.
And that would have to come back before.
Okay, so the units, the one, three,
It's
327 is.
327 units.
327 is proffered.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone?
My only other question, was there any consideration at all to this rezoning in being anything of a little bit lower density, like R4 or R5 as the other houses around?
Well, what the master plan recommends is actually a little bit higher density than what we're getting. So the intent of the master plan is to have higher density than what we have there.
Than what they're asking for.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Saul?
Saul, thank you for your presentation. On A5, there's two designated areas. The depiction represents the self-storage facility that's overlapping in red, and the lower portion we're discussing today in green. And I'm just confirming that the footprint of the new community would be the entire footprint of the base of Regal Cinemas as it exists, and then the front parking as well. I know it's only highlighted in green on A5 for the rear portion. I'm assuming it encompasses that entire parking lot as well.
Correct.
Includes dotted
Yes.
line.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Saul? Okay, thank you very much, sir. With that being said, I would like to open up the public hearing. But I would like to make a statement first. We received several emails and references to change of zoning, CZ 2025 tag 003. I'm going to read it as statement stated. We received memos from I'm going to say Miss Patel. Was in favor. There's a few I'm just going to read. Jefferson Bennett and Edwards in favor. Karen Clark in opposition. Joan Nam in opposition. And then I'd like to say we got 111 emails in favor. Now, with that being said, with so many emails, some of them were not in the areas affected by this project. So keep that in mind. So we have all this information before us, and I'm not going to go through and identify everyone that's sent, but we received a lot of email on both sides as it relates to this change of zoning. Okay? So with that being said, I will now open the public hearing. I have 7 cards of people that would like to speak. So I'm going to go through those in no particular order. And let me first say, as my pastor says often, I'm going to apologize now for the names that I messed up. So accept that. The first one I have is Mr. Mason Noseworthy.
Mr. Taylor, were you going to hear from the I'm sorry, right over here, applicant
Oh.
first, as we traditionally do?
Oh,
I
you sitting
believe
in-
Tim Trand is here. It happened.
I apologize. Again, you sat on the wrong side. Yes, let's back up. We'll hear from the applicant first, since they are here. You kind of blended in with the staff. What are you gonna?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for allowing us to offer a few brief comments.
Please state your name, your address, please, sir.
Yes, sir. My name is Tim Trant. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Kaufman and Knowles. Offices at 11815 Fountain Way here in the city of Newport News.
Thank you.
It's
you
my
very
privilege to be here on behalf of the applicant. Just make some brief introductions. One of I think Mr. Gleiser gave you a great overview of the project, as did the presentation materials. So I'll try to not be redundant of anything you've heard or read so far. Regal Cinemas, of course, is the owner of the property. They have placed this property on the market. It's been on the market for quite some time. They have indicated that they are going to ultimately close the theater regardless of whether our project goes forward or not. We are fortunate to be the contract purchaser in proposing this redevelopment plan. Who we are is really who he is. It's Brad Waitzer, who's seated behind me. He is the principal and owner of Platinum Management and Signature Management Corporation. I think it's always important to understand who's proposing a project. In my 25 years of doing this, it's been my humble experience that it really does make a difference in what ultimately you get. And so just a brief bit about Brad. He's a native of Hampton Roads, lives in the area. Most of his portfolio, most of his projects are in the area. He does exclusively luxury or Class A multifamily residential. His business model is to purchase raw land, develop the project to his specifications, own it, operate it, self-manage it for the long term. So he is not an investor, a flipper, a corporate, mogul that moves apartment complexes around on a chessboard. He really, these are very personal assets to him that he and his family and his team own and self-manage for the long term. As some evidence of that, he developed, and a large part of the reason he's interested in this site and has brought it to this forum for a proposal is he developed 10 years ago the Commonwealth at York project just down Commonwealth Drive, just a short distance from this project, and has owned and managed that quite successfully for a decade now. It has consistently remained a high-performing project, high demand, high occupancy rates, and he has been looking for a sister project in the area for quite some time, and this one presented itself. So without further ado, I'll get into our more formal presentation. These are a couple of slides, or several, that I'll just run through. I think everybody knows where the project is, but in case we need to refer back for questions, we have these visual aids that I'll just let you see in case we need to come back for questions. The conceptual plan, the current conditions, if anybody's interested in what's out there now and how the project relates to that, the conceptual elevations, which are all in your packet, 2 different color palettes, which were collaborated on with staff to try to provide some architectural distinction and treatment. These are the elevations that have been proffered. And then just a brief bit about the amenities. I think Mr. Gleiser covered most of them, but multiple park areas and pedestrian connections, and is really meant to create a very green and walkable community. It's internal trash collection, internal mail delivery. There's a courtyard with a resort-style pool and deck, clubhouse, outdoor living spaces that include fire pits and fireplaces and those types of outdoor grilling facilities and amenities that have become common among these types of complexes. And then a professional class fitness center in the clubhouse, a dog park, bicycle storage and workspace, and last but not least, garages that are available. There's not a garage for every apartment, but each of the apartment buildings has a garage, which are available on a first-come, first-served basis for rent. So anyway, again, the conceptual plan, which shows you the proposed redevelopment plan. And then I will just briefly come back to the conceptual plan and say one of the things that we did was host in the current Regal Cinemas last month a community meeting and invited a broader array of residents than would, or of adjacent property owners than would have been captured by the city's public notice list. We really built off of that and expanded it to try to get robust interest and participation. We're very fortunate to have a number of residents and business owners attend from Kiln Creek and Commonwealth Green and some of the adjacent neighborhoods, and received a lot of very good feedback. And I'm sure some of those residents will be here to share with you their interests and concerns about the project as well. Some of the ones that we heard and appreciated and tried to better understand and react to, first and foremost, was traffic and concern about the overall volume of traffic in that corridor and the impact of this project on traffic. I, for one, commute the Victory Boulevard corridor every day, at least twice a day, and so I have some firsthand sense of how that works. And it's a busy intersection, particularly at the peak commuting times, which I'm typically coming through at. But we have found, and consistent with our traffic impact analysis, that it still operates at acceptable levels of service. The rare accident obviously changes that, but with some modest peak hour delays, you're able to move through that corridor and that intersection fairly well. Our traffic is fairly modest in the character of that corridor as a percentage of the overall traffic that's already there. And our traffic engineers, which have communicated with the city and submitted a report, indicated that, you know, the cinemas in its peak operations would have produced substantially more traffic than, it's not producing a lot of traffic today. We acknowledge it's you know, quite slow there, which is the reason for its redevelopment. But in its heyday, it produced more traffic than what this project will, and we believe that the residential character of the traffic will be more amenable to that than redevelopment by right for commercial use, which would presumably be higher traffic generating. So just briefly on our response to traffic, we have tried to incorporate into our conceptual plan, as you will see, multiple ingress and egress points. And the idea is to allow for a dispersion of entering and exiting vehicles so that we are adding a new entrance off of Commonwealth Drive that doesn't exist today. And the idea is to spread out the locations where residents of this project would enter and exit Commonwealth Drive. So it would give them access to signalized intersection down a little, if they cut through the parking area by the Hallmark store and go out that way, or 2 access points on Commonwealth Drive to hopefully, again, disperse the traffic in and out and reduce congestion and improve safety. We have worked hard to design the walkability of the site with our internal sidewalks, connecting them to the adjacent properties and commercial areas to reduce external vehicle trips so that people will likely walk to Starbucks and some of the other retail amenities that exist and not as prone to drive. We've tried to facilitate creating a walkable community. We believe, as I said a moment ago, that the proposed use will result in less traffic in the corridor than if the site were to be developed by right for commercial uses. And residential use and traffic patterns are more consistent with and complementary to existing residential traffic than new commercial uses. Another thing that we heard about at the community meeting, which is a very important concern and one we appreciate, and we took steps to modify our plan to try to address this concern, was about buffering. And so I thought before we get into what we will do and are trying to do to enhance the buffer, that it would be important for you all to see, you know, sort of what the current situation looks like. So I'm probably not going to be able to orient you to the site as well as I would like, but this is, we used a drone to go up quite some distance above the Regal building and take pictures of the existing buffer area that exists along the property line between this property and then Ivy Stone neighborhood, which is be the most impacted by our project. And it's pretty substantial. There's a large mature tree canopy there, which, as Mr. Gleiser pointed out, we've proffered to preserve. This is taken sort of at the western side of the site. So if you're pulling into Regal Cinemas, we've all been to see a movie there at least some point, probably in time, not recently, unfortunately. When you turn right into the site off of Commonwealth Drive, this is the far end of the parking lot. So the far end of that building, that's where this picture is taken. And then I'll show you some successive photos that sort of rotate around back towards Commonwealth Drive. So this is back looking across from the far end of the Regal building across the Ivy Stone neighborhood towards the interstate is a better orientation. Excuse me. This is another photo just rotating around. I won't dwell on these, but as you can see, good mature tree canopy there. It's not completely opaque. We acknowledge there's some gaps. As you can see, some light that shines through. There are a fence that exists along, it appears, the property line, or at least the backs of the residential neighborhood yards that provide some additional screening. But and we intend to supplement this, and I will get into it in a bit. But it gives you a sense of how tall, first of all, the Regal Cinemas building is and how close in proximity it is to the residences. Our building in this same location will be set further back, and one of our buildings, the short side of it up front, will be in a comparable proximity. So anyway, as you can see, these are images of the existing buffer as it exists along the length of the interface with the Ivy Stone community, and gives you a sense of the community, the height of the existing building. Anyway, moving on. We provided a proffer in response to the citizen input to enhance the buffer and a change to our master plan by adding an additional 20 feet of buffer over what exists today and planting that with a dense evergreen shrubs. That's noted on the master plan and additionally a part of the proffers. So in any event, this exhibit is designed to better illustrate for you all that enhanced buffering. We have superimposed on the site in a cross-section format our building, which is located, the building located kind of in the vicinity of the current, that's located in the vicinity of the current Regal Cinemas building, and the view shed if you're looking straight out of a fourth floor window, or if you are looking down out of a fourth floor window towards the Ivy Stone community. And it gives you some sense of what the existing tree canopy looks like relative to the heights of the existing homes, the height of the apartment complex, the horizontal separation between the two, and then what our buffer, our proposed buffer would look like. And to Mr. Williams's point earlier, apologize for what would appear to be vagary in the proffers. It is certainly not our intent to create, you know, a bait and switch or wiggle words that erode the commitment we're making. We very much intend to do what we propose to do. It is sometimes the case that you find an engineering detail during the site plan process that requires a tweak here, a tweak there, and that ability to go to the planning director to address those minor modifications is all that is intended to address. And that is, I believe, Ms. McAllister will correct me if I'm wrong, inherent in the ordinance anyway. So we certainly could take that out of the proffer, but that discretion would be hers as an ordinance requirement anyway to accommodate those design changes. It's not meant to be and we're open to ways to tighten it up. We are not proposing a bait and switch, and whatever we need to do to satisfy you of that, we're anxious to do it. And then again, just in this next enhanced buffer slide, this was just taken, as you can see, a cross section of the plan in photographs taken from the roof of the current Regal Cinemas building at the location where these fourth floor windows would be. So we tried to show you kind of what the view looks like at these locations where fourth floor windows would be in the proposed location, and how that relates to the existing building sort of outlined in red. Last but not least, and I'll be quiet and answer questions, just our humble recommendation, our humble position on what the project benefits are. It's redevelopment of an underutilized and soon-to-be vacant commercial site. We fully expect it to be a catalyst for revitalization of this commercial node and the struggling commercial that is there. Provides a better transition and buffer between the single-family neighborhoods to the south and the commercial area to the north. In fact, you know, the current configuration is an odd one. Hopefully, I won't get scolded by professional planners for saying this, but it is proven sort of good planning practices that you typically transition from lower density, lower intensity uses to higher intensity uses, meaning single-family detached to multifamily to commercial. There's very seldom is it a good idea to put commercial immediately adjacent to the lower density single family. So this would actually have the effect of creating a more proper urban planning principle or concept or implementation of that concept. It would move the commercial residential interface further away from that single family residential and closer to the commercial that exists today. It will improve pedestrian connectivity and walkability, creating a more functional mixed-use area that really struggles in that concept today. A more compatible reuse of the site with adjacent residential neighborhoods and by right commercial development. And as Mr. Gleiser pointed out, last but not least, is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan. And with that, I'll be quiet and answer any questions that you have. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that very detailed presentation. Any questions? Yes, sir. Commissioner Williams?
I got a couple of them. What type of fencing is along there right now? Is it the type that wouldn't create shortcuts that as the apartments are being built and people know people in the adjacent housing neighborhood don't try to hop a fence to get over to the apartments. What type of fencing are you looking at having there?
Sure. So just to be clear, Mr. Williams, we are not proposing fencing, though we're not opposed to that. We're not saying we won't do that. The fencing that I referenced is existing fencing that was installed as a part of the residential development. And it, I can't say that I've walked the entire length and studied the fence, but I have driven that entire length and walked some of it. To my best observation, and maybe some of the residents will correct me, but it appears to be wooden board fence for the entire length of the property, of the intervening property line, which would not permit passage now.
Correct. Today you couldn't go through there.
No, sir.
Just real quick. I don't see, unless I'm missing it, is there a breakdown of one, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments?
Yes, sir. It's not well placed, and it certainly wasn't in my presentation. But if you care to have, I will give it to you. But if you care to have a record of it, it would have been in the project narrative and business plan that was with the original, submitted with the original application. But the breakdown is there. The plan would include, is proposed to include 114 one-bedroom units, 8 of which will feature separate offices as a second room in those units, 177 two-bedroom units, which 8 of which will also have an office area, and then 36 three-bedroom units. And they are proposed to have, high-end finishes consistent with luxury apartments, ceramic tile and black splashes, stainless steel appliances, quartz countertops, those types of things.
And just my last quick question. I know the developer is, his specialty is high-density apartments like this and got one down the street. Was there any consideration at all at making any type of lower density or single-family dwelling units on this 13-acre property?
To be honest, Mr. Williams, no, and there's a number of reasons, and we're not insensitive to, people having a different vision. 2 things guided us. One, high-end multifamily is what we do. So, we're obviously biased by what we know and what our business model is. That was our interest in the site. We were guided by the city's comprehensive plan, which, as Mr. Gleiser pointed out, actually calls for a higher density, slightly higher density than what we're even proposing. We were trying to keep on the modest side of that scale, achieve this the spirit and intent of the city's comp plan without being too aggressive with density. And then last but not least, by price. We have to buy the property, and in order to pay what Regal Cinemas wants, it dictates a certain type of project, and this, we would need this level of density to be able to justify the purchase price.
Okay. Anyone else? Because I have questions.
even if you, I
Yes,
just
Ms.
did
Commissioner Starjo.
I just did a quick takeoff. Even if you took the Ivystone, neighborhood and you sort of turned it and got it on the site, Ivystone has about 75 houses, and that's dense. Those are dense housing. So that's, if you just, I just kind of wiggled it around on the site.
Quick question. Any more questions?
I think, yeah.
Yes.
So first,
Commissioner Bowd.
thank you, sir. First, Mr. Trant and team, I would commend you guys for putting together this elevation viewpoint. Many a times we have these conversations on different projects, and the viewpoint and view shed or view pollution is a big topic, and rarely do we get this kind of drone footage photography and display. So thank you for doing that. It's very, very helpful. I understand in the proffers both stated by our team and in your document are very brief as to finishes and material, though you're very detailed in your 2 PA's elevation plan. Would you guys, would the group consider being a little more specific in your proffers to just highlight, it looks like your brick, your hardy, high-level surfaces, high-level materials. I know that's an important topic for at least myself and others on the commission. Maybe there's a value in adding that in the proffer and that could probably be done at the administrative level, but it's already in the package in the elevations, but I just wanted to mention that.
Yes,
But aren't
sir.
the elevations proffered in?
The elevations are proper, but it's the material that we're concerned about, the
So-
type of building material.
The elevations call out the materials.
Right.
Correct.
And
Right.
so we have proffered, to Mr. Gray's, or to Mr. Bowditch's point, we have proffered that we will develop the site consistent with those elevations, which includes those materials and finishes, and we are very much committed to those. So again, consistent with my response to Mr. Williams' comments earlier, if we need to work with staff or with council to tighten that up in any way, we're happy to do that. But yes, the short answer is, it is very much our commitment to be bound to implement. We are going to build it, you know,
As
God
displayed.
willing, in
Thank-
accordance with those elevations, yes.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Any more comments? I had a quick question. Just real quickly for the elevation plan that with Commissioner Bowditch spoke on. The 4-story apartment complex that's adjacent to Commonwealth Drive, is Lot 1 considered to be the viewpoint from that building also? Because
The-
that's much closer than
Yes.
the previous
The
ones.
cross-section is from, and I'll scroll back, if I may, Mr. Chairman, through my slides to get you to the right view shed. So this cross-section is from,
Right,
sorry.
that's what the corners look like
yeah,
today.
this cross-section is from, one more, is from, I can't, it's from the building, the white building sort of perpendicular to Commonwealth Drive, sort of set further in the site. It is not the building you're making reference to
Correct.
up on Commonwealth Drive. So those viewpoints are all taken from the building that, where the residents would have windows
View.
and whatnot that would look out over to Ivystone.
Got you.
To your question, that is the best, these are the best images we have of what the view shed is at the corner. That's the existing view from the corner of the Regal Cinemas building at Commonwealth Drive. And our building will be situated, that one that you made reference to that fronts on Commonwealth Drive, has the skinny side adjacent to the Ivystone property line. That is roughly a similar, that's it's approximately the same vicinity of where that building will be located.
Okay, my question centered around the side view because of the fact that obviously there's going to be windows on the side of that building. So I was getting an idea of what they're looking at from that location. I think the tenant, the residents that are
The 4 apartments, it's probably 4 apartments on the corner.
correct, that is, what do they see from their 4 apartments in reference to the people that have the residents, their houses that are right abut to it on the other side of those trees?
Right.
So that
Yeah.
was why I asked the question. You were very particular in looking at it and laying it out for the building that's sitting the farthest away. I just wondered, is there a possibility to see what do they see on the other side of that tree?
Yeah, it would be very similar, and I'm happy for Mr.
they're
Waitzer,
much
who
closer.
oversaw taking some of these pictures to weigh in.
I was
That's right.
there when the
That's
drone
right.
shots were taken, and it's a good thing I didn't operate the
It's actually
drone, or we
better.
would have crashed. But
Yeah, yeah.
it's a very similar view, and it's if you notice, there are 2 different ways of doing it: straight and then down 10 degrees.
Correct.
Both of which, if you go closer to it, would also be
Right.
would also be blocked by the trees. So it's there are few gaps, but it's very dense.
Okay.
And if I could also, if it makes everybody happy, I could redesign the end of that building and eliminate the windows on that end.
Oh, I know.
Well, I'm not asking for you to do that, but it was not called out in the information that was shown. So I'm asking the question as though I was a citizen saying, okay, what are they looking at?
They're going to look at trees, and dense trees.
Roger that.
But again, I'm looking to work with everybody, not against anybody.
Well, let me do this, even further, for the sake of referencing and for the records. State who you are and where you live.
I'm sorry. My name is Brad Waitzer. I'm the developer.
Okay.
My office is 242 Mustang Trail, Suite 1, Virginia Beach, 23452. And just one last note, I know that everybody's concerned about what's going there.
Yes, sir.
I own the Commonwealth down the street,
Yes.
just to the south, about half a mile away. It has a value way in excess of $100 million. So if there's anybody who's without investors, if there's anybody who's interested in making sure that this is really, really nice, it's me.
Well, thank you so very much, sir. But I was more concerned about who you were, what position you were speaking from, and so that the audience will know that what you say is what you're saying.
I didn't need to say much because Tim did such a great job.
Yes, he did. Thank you, sir.
Just one quick question for you, sir. Yeah, just one quick question for you. Like you said, with the Commonwealth being right down the street and talking about materials, which I appreciate Commissioner Boladich and us as commissioners being real careful about what's being built there. Are you planning on building these apartments with any less quality than that?
These are better quality than that. We use salt-treated stairs in the breezeways. There are no breezeways in this building except for that 1 3-story building, and that's going to be enclosed. But it's hopefully we've gotten better with time. That was designed a long time ago.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Oh, thank you, sir. Hearing none, we'll move on. Like I said, I did open the public hearing. So we do have, I do have a couple of cards. Who wants to speak on behalf of this? Mr. Witz, you happen to be the first on my card. Do you want to? Thank you very much. You're available for questions. Roger that, sir. The first question, the next person is Mr. Mason Noseworthy. Please come forward, sir, and state your name better than I did, and
Yeah,
and your address.
my name is Mason Norsworthy. I'm up in Williamsburg at 221 McLaws Circle, 23185, and I represent the Hallmark building that abuts the property right in front of me.
I'm gonna need you to come closer to the mic or bring it closer
And I'm
to
short,
you.
sorry.
That's okay.
I represent the Hallmark building that is in front of it. And I just, with 111 emails, you may have it, but I just want to come here and state my support for it. I think it's much better use for the land, without a doubt. We own various commercial and residential property in the area, and I think it looks like a good project. I think you did a good job on it, and I think the only other thing I would really want to say is support for the higher density in between. Not only if it doesn't economically work, it just doesn't work as far as having the lower density. But I certainly think that if I were to try to picture single family, button right up next to the Hallmark store or the restaurant, which it wouldn't be exactly, or the tire shop, it's not gonna work together. I think it would be abrasive to sit next to each other. So I think it's a good transition in between the commercial up front, and I think it would really benefit that shopping center, particularly that half of the shopping center. So I don't need to take a lot of time. That's just what I've got.
Thank you, sir. Hold on just a second. Any questions for Mr. Noseworthy? Thank you, sir.
Yep. We don't mind traffic. Not everybody doesn't like traffic.
Be careful. I moved here from New Jersey. Be careful. The next we have is Ms. Karen Clark. Please come forward and state your name and your address, ma'am.
Okay, I am Karen Clark. I reside at 901 Ivy Stone Way, Newport News. Okay, and I'm here because the development that they're proposing, I feel, is too large. Now, I also have a petition, which I'm going to read, and I also have signatures of people who are unable to attend. Okay, petition went out on June 5th. We, the undersigned residents of the Ivy Stone Way community, also associated with the Kill Creek Residential Association, are located off of Commonwealth Drive in the city in Newport News. The community is expressing our opposition of the proposed development of the Platinum Management currently belonging to the Regal Cinema for the redevelopment of luxury apartments. The planned development at 100 Regal Way and its properties pose a significant threat to the area, neighborhood, character, environment, and quality of life. In 2016, the inquiry regarding a building of a Wegmans supermarket to be constructed off of Jefferson Avenue at the time in the Kiln Creek area was rejected because of traffic, potential traffic from the FAA. As far as I know, this is my research. If it's other than that, I didn't find it. Whereas since then, there have been several developments to our area of Newport News and Yorktown, as we are right on the border. The development of such a large apartment complex will add to the already overwhelming increasing of traffic congestion, thus putting a further strain of the already overpopulated area, including entrances and exits off of the Victory Boulevard, already well-known accident zones on the Commonwealth, connecting with I-64, Jefferson Avenue, J. Clyde, etc. The proposed building of multiple apartment complexes off of the Commonwealth will sandwich our community of Ivy Stoneway between two large apartment complexes, resulting in a negative impact on our property value. Our concerns include the potential of additional crime, as the Kiln Creek area has a crime rate surrounding its neighborhoods, according to statistics. Also, not to mention the number of driveway break-ins in the Kiln Creek community, the environmental impact of such a large-scale residential building to include overpopulation, crime, potential harm to the local ecosystem, including wildlife, light, noise, garbage, sewer, and overuse of utilities, and the potential flooding of rainwater runoff. Our community has already experienced such concerns with the now existing apartment complex and hotels since added to the area. Public safety issues such as increased speeding on the local streets, of which several walkers have almost been hit by cars, and several accidents occur at intersections leading to 100 Regal Way. Not to mention the current local apartment and hotel occupancies who currently litter and walk their pets in our neighborhood, not picking up after them, creating potential health hazards. We are greatly concerned about how this will impact our property value and the increasing of HOA fees to control the issues. Our community and surrounding land are already busting at the seams with traffic congestion and cannot handle anymore. The green space and natural beauty of what remains is cherished. Consequently, with the development of such a large apartment complex and the already overbuilding in our area will have a negative impact on our valuable resources, increased crime, overcrowded, more living, garbage, noise, pollution, wear and tear on the roads, utility consumption, overcrowded schools, resulting in potential increase of property taxes. The residents of Ivy Stoneway had attended a previous meeting when the developers constructed the Commonwealth at York Apartment, which I did not know was going on at the time, but some people received notices, apparently some haven't. The same with this Regal also. Some received, some haven't. Some attended the meeting, some people didn't even know, or they received the notices late after the meeting date. Okay, so back to this. Complex in the building of the meeting when developers constructed the Commonwealth at Yorktown apartment and complex and building of two-family single homes. At this meeting, we were told a crossroad to Route 17 behind Cortons was to be included to handle the increased traffic congestion, which did not happen. But this is Yorktown, not Newport News, because we're on the border. Also, as part of the original plan, was to include retail living units, of which all of a sudden is now another hotel. So they changed course in the midst of building these apartments and two-family houses. They were supposed to be building, what were they? Living and work quarters for retail. This will now make it the fifth hotel in less than a mile of our small community. Was that necessary? This brings trust issues concerning the developer. This developer has plans for 8.01 acres when there's 13.74 on the plans. What's going on with the additional acreage? It's not on the plan. What will happen with the acreage? Okay. While we do not want to see another vacant building in the area, we do not approve such a large apartment complex to be added. We highly suggest single-family housing, no higher than 2 stories, to complement the surrounding community. Single-family housing would be a better fit for the area, with less traffic congestion than proposed apartments, and much needed in the city of Newport News, not luxury apartments, which would cost renters just as much, if not more, than a mortgage. We are highly recommending that single families be a priority. We, the residents of Ivy Stoneway, are urging you to highly consider our concerns regarding the impact of safety, environmental, property value, overcrowding, the decision of your decision of our community. Please take into consideration the negative effects posed on our quality of life by taking the necessary action to prevent this development from proceeding. Failure to address this issue now will have long-lasting negative imprint on the community where our families live in the surrounding area. We are urging you to find another solution. Thank you for taking the time to review our concerns, and I have a copy of the petition, if somebody would like to.
She'll take that. Thank you so very much, Ms. Clark.
And also, one other thing. I was driving around the areas in Newport News. I'm not totally familiar with everything, but I did come across an area off of Warwick called the Shorewood Shopping Center, which seems to be quite vacant and probably just as large capacity, acreage-wide, to support high-density housing.
Are you selling real estate now?
No, I'm just saying, we're trying to find a better place to put what
Isn't
he
that
would
where
like
the
to
library is
build.
going?
That is
Library and
exactly where the
police
library is going.
And the
That
police
property is already,
department.
that property is already spoken for.
Is it?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
don't know. It's next to the police station.
Yes. Thank you very much, Ms. Clark. Any
How
questions
many,
for,
I want to know how many people signed the petition.
Ms. Clark, how many,
I'm going to say 170.
170?
Yeah, it was too hot, so I couldn't
No, that's okay. I just
continue
was
with
curious.
that.
Just curious.
I mean, can I add to this petition as
Ms.
time
Cl-
goes on, or is it kind of closed at this point?
Ms. Clark, today,
Today.
yes, today is closed. Thank you very much, Ms. Clark. You have any questions for Ms. Clark, anyone? No? Thank you, Ms. Clark. I got you up and down, but thank you. The next card I have is from Tim Kaufman. I'm skipping, I'm not, it's,
Trent, he already spoke. That's Trent. That's the lawyer.
Yeah, Kaufman and Knowles.
you see what he did? Thanks, Trent. Very well done. Yeah, I'm paying for this. Yeah. The next item next person I have on, I have no clue. I'm gonna read this. The person's name is CZ2025 tag 003. No. At 708 Stone.
I didn't write my name on it.
No, you didn't.
I'm sorry.
You good. Please come. Please state your name and your address because I know it's not the case to change the zoning item.
Name is Sharon Hart. I live at 708 Stone Cove, and yes, I live in the Ivy Stone area. We don't come with attorneys. We're just middle-class, patriotic, God-fearing people that did what we thought we were supposed to do. We saved our money. We bought a house. We maintained our homes. We pay our HOA fees and our personal property tax. 5 years ago, the Chandler was built down the road, luxury apartments. I attended the forum. I said, what are you going to do about the traffic congestion? I was told by the developers, well, we're going to put a road from behind Coxton's out on 17. That'll be an access road. That didn't happen. There's several other things that didn't happen. I'll tell you what did happen, though. We ended up with speeders going 55, 65 miles an hour down Commonwealth. I've almost been hit and killed twice. I called the police department. No one knows where the property line is. Is it York County? Is it Newport News? The median supposedly separates it. I called the Newport News Police Department, said I almost got hit on Commonwealth. Can you do something about monitoring the traffic speed? They said, no, that's York County. I called York County, and they said, oh, no, that's Newport News. So this is a dilemma that we're in. There also, when the luxury apartments were built, we found that there was a curve in the pipe. So guess what? Ivystone and Miller's Pond now pay 2 sewage bills, one to Newport News and one to York County. That's $600-700 a year we were towed with. So we also have people that are speeding also like to throw garbage out the windows, which blow into our community. And I guess you have to speed and play loud music at the same time with lyrics that aren't extremely popular or I want my granddaughter to listen to. Let's look at apartment dwellers and the average age of an apartment dweller. 1, they are between 21 and 34. 2, they have no vested interest in their community or their surrounding. Hence, they speed down the road, they throw garbage out the windows, they walk their dogs, don't really care where they let loose or pick up after them, whether they're in our community or their community. It's not safe on our roads anymore. We live in the middle. Miller's Pond has been there since 1992. They now have, due to some modifications done, when that area was proposed, there were supposed to be retail shops at the bottom, people living on top. Well, that didn't sell very well. So guess what happened? Another hotel. A hotel that's built right outside Miller's Pond basically took the sunrise and sunset away from those people that are living there. This hasn't been a glorious experience, so I tell you, when they were proposing to build another luxury apartment, it didn't exactly sit well with the people of Ivystone or Miller's Pond. We're just middle-class folks. I don't have an attorney. If I did, I wouldn't have enough money to fight the fact that now I have to pay 2 sewage bills. I'm asking you to open your eyes, your hearts, and your concern for the citizens of Newport News. We do not want to be sandwiched between 2 luxury apartments. We've already succumbed to what happens with one down at the end of our street, let alone another. Now, let me preface that. We don't want a vacant building. That's not what we're advocating for. We're advocating for what the city of Newport News needs for their citizens, which is single-family homes, or there's not a 55-plus community in Newport News. The Huntington is mainly assisted living. There are beautiful 55-plus communities. There's one up by York High School. There's one off of Wythe Creek Road in Bocosin. These are people that have a vested interest in their community. They buy these homes. They want to downsize. There's none in Newport News. They're not high-traffic people. And when they leave their 55-plus home, there's an assisted living that was built just on the other side of Kroger. So it is a good fit. Putting another high-rise, high-density facility sandwiching Miller's Pond and Ivystone between them is not a good fit. Let's look at what your citizens need. I'm going to bring some statistics as far as the median income of the citizens of Newport News. This is census that was taken 2023. $66,718. So if you take out insurances, you take out taxes, the average person living in Newport News is living on about $50,000. Can they afford a luxury apartment for $2,000 to $1,300, which is what these go for? I don't think so. I don't think this is what the citizens of Newport News need. They need affordable housing. Mr. Williams, when this came to vote on, or y'all proposed in August of '24, I listened to that one night, and y'all proposed that it be turned into a high density. And you asked, have we not considered single-family housing? Think about your citizens, think about their income. Why are we building all these luxury apartments? Down the road, less than 5 miles. Now, granted, this isn't the city of Newport News. This is going towards York County. There are 574 homes being built. 327 are apartments, townhouses. It's called Legacy Landing. Look like little row houses. I wouldn't want to live there, not in that large of a capacity. Over on the other side, near the fire station, Quarter Creek, they're building high-end, $749,000, if you got that kind of money. That's over there for you. Those are 55 homes. That's 574 homes. Okay, traffic congestion, you think we're concerned about that and safety if we have a national disaster? Well, let's see. The people that are living down in Legacy, they can go out Yorktown Road, or they can go out to Hampton and catch 64, because 64 is our escape route, right? Over half of those people are going to be heading our way trying to get on 64. That is a big safety hazard. Why are we constantly overcrowding? Why are we building to the developers? Let's be a city of quality for the citizens and consider the citizens that have lived there, have worked there, have paid personal property tax, and done all the right things, only for you to approve a high density. My hope is that you will downsize that high density and turn it into an R2. Let's build a single-family housing development along with a 55 plus. There's another acreage there that it could be done. I have another concern, and that has to do with trust issues of the developer and this modification thing that they do, because we ended up with a hotel with them doing that modification. There is 13.27 acres. They're going to own it all. They account for 8. If you look at their plans, they show the 327 apartments, so many four-story, 1 3-story. And then over in the corner, there's 2 little townhouses. They got an extra 5 acres. Now we're going to do a modification plan and end up with townhouses? I just read an article in Virginia Pilot that was put out last week that was talking about how this developer was expanding Regal with apartments and townhouses. Where'd they get that information from? We only want people that have an vested interest. That's all. They'll maintain their community and their surroundings. We don't need people that think they're invincible. I'm sorry. That's 20, I learned, 21 to 34 is your average in an apartment who have no vested interests. You've got children trying to ride bicycles, walking. That whole area was proposed and built by Kiln Creek across the way. I was sold on that area because I could walk to my dentist's office, my doctor's office, to the grocery store. It's not safe. Not safe. You take your own life in your own hands crossing Commonwealth. That's all I got. Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions?
I just have
Yes.
one question. What year was your house built?
98.
98.
Miller's Pond is 92. Those people, and there are many people that have,
But the house
still
was
there.
built.
Yes.
92.
And 98 was when Ivy Stone was there. There are 137 homes in Miller's Pond. There's 100 homes in Ivy Stone. When we did the petition, I have 177 signatures from Ivy Stone. That's getting both owners. So that's over 3/4 represented. Now granted, mosquitoes and hot weather came out, and we only canvassed probably about 1/3 of Miller's Pond. But I don't talk to you just from me. I'm representing 250 signatures that we got, and we PDF to you folks. The community is not a good fit for a high density. It needs to be lowered to an R2, and that's what we're advocating for. And people that have a vested interest to be able to purchase something that the citizens of Newport News really need.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hart.
Thank you.
Any questions for Ms. Hart? Hearing none, thank you very much, ma'am. The next one I have is Ms. Elizabeth Balkins.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Boykin, and I reside at 828 Greystone Trace in Ivystone. Not opposed to having luxury apartments, as you say. I think the density is a little high. One of my questions to the builder is, they were showing pictures of over the Regal into Ivystone. So if you go up 4 stories and it's wintertime, there's no leaves, there's no density of the tree line, anything through there. So, I mean, people are going to be looking right straight down into, you know, the neighborhood and people's backyards and everything. I would like to see maybe a 2-story building there and then the 4-story over, where it's not going to be overlooking such a close neighborhood, as far as that's concerned. And as far as the traffic, and as they were saying, it is getting worse out there. I have seen a young girl walking home from the school bus almost get hit. You know, and that concerned me. Also, the crime rate is going up into our neighborhoods. My parents were there. They were the first ones to move in over there, and they moved in 97. And I've been in and out of that neighborhood with my parents, you know, through the whole time. I just live right down the street, and now I reside there in their home. So, you know, I've seen a lot go on through the years, to where it was, you know, single-family homes, which, you know, people were invested in and lived in and really didn't have much to worry about. And it really doesn't matter where you go, unless you're in a gated community nowadays, of crime. It's building up through the entire city, you know, all 7 cities. You know, you can't get rid of it. There's not enough police power, I would say, which is hard on all the cities. But, you know, people try to go to communities where they feel safe. And with that high of a density of, you know, apartments coming in, there's a lot of us who don't, you know, feel that safe anymore, you know, with that number. And I do think, you know, apartments to be there, our townhouses, you know, it's a good thing, because it's not going to leave it blank where, you know, you have your drug addicts coming into these empty parking lots doing drug deals. this and that. I mean, we've driven by there and have seen it. You know, they're going out, hiding out behind the empty buildings and stuff like that that are over there, or that they're doing construction on now. And that's another concern is, you know, when they're constructing this, what's going to stop people from coming in and doing their little business over there as far as like drug deals or any wrongdoing? You know, and leaving trash and, you know, coming through the neighborhoods thinking, oh, well, these look like some nice houses. Let's see what we can go break in and get out of these houses, or, you know, things like that out of these cars. I mean, it's just a lot going on. Like I said, I am not opposed to it, but I think the density is just much too high.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Any questions for
Do
me?
you have any questions for? No?
Well, thank you for listening.
Thank you so very much for coming down. The next card I had is from Stephen Roderick.
Good afternoon, council members.
Good afternoon. See, sir, please raise the mic and please raise the mic and state your name and address.
My name is Stephen Roderick, and I live at 901 Ivy Stone Lane.
Yeah.
Way. I've lived there since 2014. I've lived in Virginia since 2012. I've come to call Ivy Stone my home. And I learned a few things today, a lot of few things. Like, for instance, the luxury apartments, they are luxury apartments. I mean, from the outside, they look great. Never been in them, but they do look really nice. I grew up in Astoria, Queens, in the 60s and 70s. I know what high density means, and that's the impression I get. It's high density. I grew up in an apartment building, block after block of apartment buildings. And then I was lucky enough and fortunate enough to move into the suburbs, where, you know, you get a little bit more open space. And the word high density has been used today quite a bit, excessively, but quite a bit. And it brings certain connotations. Since those luxury apartments were built, and again, nothing against them, they're very nice buildings, I've seen my utility bills go up. Is it as a result? I don't know. There's always going to be a cost of living increase from all utility companies. But when they're burdened even more, no matter how efficient the appliances are, they have to accommodate it by improving their infrastructure. And they do this to accommodate us. And it doesn't come for free. It eventually gets passed down. Same thing with the water company. Each one of these dwellings will require electricity and water. And again, let's not forget the word high density. At the same time, to repeat something that was previously said, there's something about, you know, having a nice luxury high density building on one side and housing, and a high density on the other side. And I'm not here to say that, you know, it should be left blank. Something should be done with the Regal, and I've said that forever. Personally, I wanted something in the way of retail. I thought that would have been a good addition. But here we are. And I did learn one other thing. Why are they building another high density project there? The developer's lawyer was honest enough to answer that the price they paid for the Regal can only be justified by building a high-density location to get their money's worth. That was news to me. It wasn't because the city needed it. It's, like he said, they just want to get their money's worth. But does it have to be apartments? Can it be condos? Can it be a retirement facility or anything in that? It should be something. Like I said, I've been there since 2014, and We're surrounded by 5 hotels. You could walk to each one of them, including the newest one that was built. I could walk there blindfolded. It's right down the block. I just think a lot is going on. And regardless of personally, from my standpoint, regardless of the studies are as good as, looking at something for a day or 2 or a month. They'll never truly tell you the impact of some 300 and some odd units, assuming 2 cars per dwelling. How do they all get in and out during a normal 9 to 5 business day? As it stands right now, it is pretty busy on any given day with the existing luxury apartment building that's adjacent to Ivy Stone and Miller's Pond. Across the street, just across the street, a lot of beautiful 2-family condo dwellings. Beautiful. And like I said, with the inclusion of a new hotel. High density is an understatement. We are not going to supercharge that with this newest apartment dwelling. I personally think it'll lower the property value of the homes only because of the proximity. Again, I'm not blind to the fact that not all apartment dwellings, lower the housing value. But when you take into consideration proximity, it does have an effect. But I'm just one voice. And I do call Ivy Stone my home. And I'm concerned because of the reasons that I just mentioned. And in conclusion, like I said, I'm not opposed to having something built there. It's just high density. Mr. Williams, you brought that up, and adequately so. Does it have to be? And that's when the truth came out, I thought. Again, I just wish it would be something less density. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Roderick. Do we have any questions for Mr. Roderick? Yes, Mr. Bowd.
I just want to say, Mr. Roderick, appreciate your voice. It does matter. I personally take notes on everything everyone says. And for the young ladies that spoke before you, appreciate your voice. And those that are here to speak, I look forward to hearing more. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Before I close the public hearing, is there anyone else in the audience that has not had an opportunity to speak and wanted to and didn't get a chance to fill out a card? Seeing no one move, I will now close the public hearing. The matter is now before, this change of zoning matter is now before the commission. Any questions, any comments?
Chairman, I want to just comment. I've walked around the property on Google, and it appears that there's a new fence or newer fence that's behind 2 sides of the property. It's hard to tell on the third, but a wood fence does exist, and it looks like it's newer. So
Standard 8 foot?
I would call it more like 6.
6 foot. Thank you. Span. Any other questions or comments? Open for a motion. Commissioners?
Chairperson Taylor?
Yes, sir.
I
Commissioner
move
Dice.
that the commission recommends change of zoning CZ 2025 TAC 0003, City Council for approval.
Okay, it's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Any other questions or comments?
I'll make a couple of comments. So I'm a person who can see all sides of the fence, unfortunately, good or bad. And there's a couple of things I saw on the elevation that faces what's the name of the street? That faces
Common.
Ivy Stone.
Ivy Stone.
There's garages, but there's also balconies that face Ivy Stone. That kind of, there's a balcony on the
Proposed balcony.
third floor. 1, 2, 3, third floor. I don't know why it says a 4-story building that faces Ivy Stone. 4-story apartment when it's drawn as, I guess it's drawn as a 3-story. Am I reading it wrong? No. Well, anyways, but there's a balcony on the top floor, wherever, there's a balcony on the top floor. So yes, you know, that could potentially maybe be able to see into the yards, but I mean, I don't know if, but there is balconies on facing Ivystone. Okay, that gave me a little bit of heartburn, but on the flip side, the buildings are pulled back, so they're, you know, we've seen other projects come before us where, you know, it's a 40-foot buffer and then a building. But this time, you know, it's a 40-foot buffer, it's parking, and it's pushed back. And this neighborhood, this seems to make its own little neighborhood. It sort of turns in on itself. The other thing that I thought was, that I noticed is the stairwells are all enclosed. So you don't have the stairwells open. You normally see in apartments where there's a lot of noise that happens in the stairwells when they're open. They've enclosed all the stairwells. So, you know, people going up and down their apartments and they're not open. So when they face, it appears as though they face Ivystone, it's enclosed. You come in a door, you go upstairs, you're enclosed. And that made me feel a little bit better not having, you know, people running up and down stairs with the stairwell open. I think that's. I did appreciate the way they pushed the buildings back with the parking, but
Which created another buffer between.
created another buffer. It created another level of buffer, and then with the added plantings, so when a person pulls their car around headlights, you know, you have the fence, then you have the trees, then you have another layer of plantings, then you have the cars, then you have another row of cars, and then you have the buildings. You know, and I think, you know, it was zone C1. I don't think you'll ever get C1 to come back there. I don't feel it happening. So, you know, I think if another developer saw an opportunity for C1 or lower density, they'd have done it. So that's kind of my 2 cents.
Thank you, Commissioner Stidel. Commissioner, no?
In addition to what Commissioner Stodgel said, with the buffer, they're adding to the buffer additional evergreens.
Right.
So that when it becomes winter, you will have that blockage, and the tree species that are being proposed are 40 to 60 feet tall and 20 to 30 feet tall to help add density
Year-round.
to block the view, so to speak, between Ivystone and the apartments,
Or which is a year-round buffer.
which will be a year-round buffer, yes.
Any more comments? Yes, sir, Commissioner.
I live in the other part of Kiln Creek, and the apartments that are in the front, Featherstone, they are very close to the other houses. There's a buffer there, there's a gate there, 3-story. The apartments and the houses in that part were built at the same time. They coexist well. They've been there for a while.
And it's the 3-story apartments.
Yes,
I know what
Featherstone
you're
in the
talking
front, yeah, off Brick Hill, yes. I live in that section, so no issues between the homeowners, the condos, the townhouses, and the apartments. Everybody dwells together.
Okay. Oh, well, yes, sir, Commissioner Williams.
First of all, I love the presentation. I think the apartments as a whole and everything looks good with it. I am just, and I know everything fits according to our plan as it stands right now and everything, but I am just really hoping that for us as a city that we start creating more spaces for affordable home ownership. And I don't know how many more apartments do we need in this city. And that's just my grappling right here. It's not that the project is bad. I can hear the traffic issues. As someone who goes up that way, I still hit Unos out that way. And but we also have to admit that retail is struggling. And I don't know if the community's not supporting the retail in that area. Something needs to be done to help rebuild that retail corridor because before it really does become desolate. And that's my struggle that I'm going back and forth with this. But can we do it with homes versus just more apartments? Is always going to be my wrestling from this point on with what we are determining to build and plan in our city. Because I hear the need of so many families that want affordable home ownership, or for those who are older to move into spaces that are more conducive for them. And so that's my wrestling as we come to this vote.
I can
Yes, sir.
understand that.
Okay. But I'd like to add to Brother Williams, Commissioner Williams'
So
comments.
churchy.
Right.
Right. So churchy.
It is not necessarily that the community is looking for so many single homes and the availability, affordability of homes, but we don't lose the caveat is that they're looking for them here in the city of Newport.
And I'm
News.
not sure
Because the
homes
city
there.
of Newport, the city of, can I finish? I can finish my statement.
Yes, you can.
It's the city of Newport News. We're concerned about what we're doing here in our city.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not just that we're looking for them, but we're looking for them here. We want to stay here. So let's not leave that part out of our statement, and our concerns.
And I'm not sure
Yes,
it's the,
Mara.
it's the correct, it's the correct land use, next to, you're gonna have homes next to a commercial zone where the Hallmark is and the,
Right.
you're gonna have homes next to a commercial use. I'm not sure that's the correct buffer either. So I can understand the struggle.
Well,
So I'll make, if I can make
Yes, sir.
one comment. So, and commissioners know, and just for the public, me making a motion doesn't necessarily state that I'm in favor of the motion, but at least opens the floor for us to have that discussion. I think the common ground here from everyone in the room is that we want something to be done with this property, with this parcel. I totally understand the feedback that's been provided by the public. Very much appreciate you all coming. Definitely well prepared, much research. I think it definitely contributed towards a lot of what the commissioners are considering right now. But I will throw out, there are opportunities for us to have further discussion if we feel that there needs to be additional time, hearing some of the comments from the commissioners. So this isn't necessarily the end-all be-all. I think we all kind of know that. But I at least wanted to put that out there that if there are considerations that we need to make, additional time required, we need to revisit, we have those opportunities as long as we've got everyone fully staffed to have those conversations. I just want to put that out.
and yes. So, yes, Commissioner Bowditch.
To add to that, I think it's important in the fact that I know there has been a ability for the community to voice their opinion prior to this, but to add to that, for Tim, Mr. Trant and his team to host a meeting at the cinema, understand it was well attended, and to be able to incorporate those concerns, traffic, entrances, view shed, and other concerns.
Yes.
So thank you for doing that. I think that, unfortunately, I haven't visited this Regal Cinema since I was maybe in my late teens, early 20s, and so I might have to catch a flick before this is no longer available. But I have to reference the traffic. We have to relate traffic, I think, as it represents this new development or proposed new development, as it would relate to the Regal Cinema in its prime or in its busy day, which has been many years. So, unfortunately, it just
See it.
a different tune for the theater, I guess, world. But I just wanted to point that out.
Yes, thank you, sir. With that being said, we do have a motion before us and a second. And I would like to have us call roll now.
Commissioner Bowditch,
4.
Commissioner Woodard,
4.
Commissioner Williams,
Against.
Commissioner Shook,
4.
Commissioner Stodchill,
4.
Commissioner Dias,
4.
Commissioner Black,
4.
Commissioner Taylor.
4.
Motion carries 7-1.
Thank you very much. This matter will be heard by City Council on August the 12th, 2025. I'd like to thank our citizens for coming down and Again, this will be heard by City Council on August the 12th, 2025. Okay, the next item we have on our agenda is conditional use permit CU 20250004, JMB Real Estate LLC. And this will be heard by Saul Galicia. Gleiser. I'm sorry, Saul. Of all these years, I'm screwing up your name. It's been a long day. Please.
It's okay. I've been called worse.
I'm gonna try not to make that any worse. Well, this will be heard by Saul Galicia.
So,
Before you
hello
start, Saul,
again.
before you start, Saul, can we close the doors, if you don't mind? I don't know why we didn't close them before. Thank you.
Hello again. Hopefully, this one will go a little bit faster. We have application CU 2025-0004. JMB Real Estate LLC is the owner and applicant, and they are requesting a conditional use permit for the operation of a small motor vehicle repair and service facility in the way of a tire store. The property is located at 9955 Jefferson Avenue, and it contains 0.47 acres. North of the property is a 7-Eleven convenience store and gas station on property zone C2 General Commercial. East, we have an auto parts store and EZ auto used car sales on property zone C2 General Commercial. On the south is a property owned by the Newport News Green Foundation and a pump station on property zone C2 General Commercial and O1 Office, respectively. And finally, west is the Riverside College of Health Sciences on property zone O1 Office. The One City, One Future 2040 Comprehensive Plan land use map designates neighborhood commercial uses for the parcel. Although the proposed use does not meet the intended use, the use is still aligns with several strategies listed in the comprehensive plan, including the reuse of a vacant property. The property has been zoned C2 General Commercial since the citywide comprehensive rezoning became effective on August 1st, 1997. The property was previously used as an alignment service center until it closed in 2020. The use predated the requirement for a conditional use permit and therefore was a legally non-conforming use. Since the automotive repair use ceased operations over 2 years ago, the non-conformity was lost. Hence, the new use requires the approval of a conditional use permit. The site regulations require a minimum 10 feet wide landscape strip along Jefferson Avenue. Submittal and approval of a Class 2 site plan will be required to address site plan requirements, which include driveway entrance and landscape and green area requirements. There will be no freestanding sign proposed. Signage will be limited to a building sign replacing the existing building sign in the same location. City departments had no objection to this request. The applicant has been in business since 1995, operating 7 locations throughout the Tidewater area. They are looking at bringing their business to Newport News. The applicant is proposing to reuse the 1980s vacant building as a tire sales, repair, and installation facility. The applicant proposes modifying the parking area to meet current city requirements, adding a landscape strip along Jefferson Avenue, as well as adding landscaping to the open area on the north end of the property. This way, they will be providing green relief in a commercial area that is devoid of any plantings. The southern existing entrance on Jefferson Avenue will be removed, and the northern one will be replaced with a 40-foot wide commercial entrance, meeting city standards. There are no changes proposed to the existing structure, only the installation of a building sign over the front entrance. All automobile services work will be conducted inside the building within the existing base. No tires will be displayed or stored outside of the building. All used tires will be stored inside and disposed of in a lawful manner. The business plan indicates hours of operations from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. with 2 full-time employees on site at any given time. In conclusion, the proposed use of a small motor vehicle repair and service facility is consistent with several strategies from the One City, One Future 2040 Comprehensive Plan. Even though it maintains an automobile-related use along the portion of Jefferson Avenue where the proliferation of such uses abounds, the improvements to the property, including the proposed landscaping and closure of one of the driveways, will improve the visual appearance of the property and soften the visual impact of the use along Jefferson Avenue. As conditioned, the proposed use should not negatively impact the surrounding properties. Hence, it is recommended that Planning Commission recommend to City Council approval of conditional use permit CU 2025-0004 for the operation of a small motor vehicle repair and service facility at 9955 Jefferson Avenue with 18 conditions that include a Class 2 site plan shall be submitted and approved. A landscape plan shall be approved by the Director of Planning. No freestanding sign shall be permitted on the property. All other standard conditions also apply. All 18 conditions are detailed in the staff report and will be part of the ordinance approved by council. Are there any questions?
Yes, so I got a quick one. When he was, the proposed closing of one of the entrances to this property, and he's going to use, what kind of foliage or landscaping is he going to do? I know he's, I guess the applicant said they would use landscapings to close off one of the exits or entrances to this property and make one large entrance.
They will remove one of the entrances to the property and they will install the landscape strip that is required.
Okay.
So stipulations for how many trees and how many other plantings are required are part of the site regulations.
Okay. I was going to say, I was trying to make sure what's governing what he puts in place of it. Okay. Any questions? But you can wait.
You go ahead, then I'll go.
Commissioner Stars, go ahead.
Okay, is there no requirement for a buffer between that and the 7-Eleven or back behind there and, I guess that's, I don't know,
No,
just price?
there are no buffer
No,
requirements.
no buffer required by the 7-Eleven, that just kind of, okay.
It just runs right next to each other.
Just buffer on the street. Okay.
Commissioner Williams?
So just correct me if I'm wrong, aren't we in the process of putting together a redevelopment of this whole corridor from Jefferson up to J. Clyde Moore?
I don't think it
It's
starts.
on Jefferson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's correct.
Should we determine first what that redevelopment would look like before we change or allow the conditional use for this particular piece of property being part of that larger scope redevelopment plan?
The redevelopment plan doesn't mean that they are going to ask for a rezoning of the property or that the property is going to change. You have an existing building that is vacant, and
So
the use
grandfather.
is permitted by conditional use permit.
Yeah.
So this is what you have right now.
Yeah, we can't.
So this will be
Okay.
absorbed into the
I'm
redevelopment.
just asking a question because I know we were planning on doing something.
So with the redevelopment, this project potentially would just be absorbed in that redevelopment project?
Correct. The
Yeah.
redevelopment won't,
Yes.
won't change.
Anyone else has questions for us all? Yes, sir. Commissioner Bowden.
So, appreciate your presentation. The comment on signage, I understand that the building currently has a sign on the front facade and it looks like a former sign on the left facade. Was it, I certainly hope the applicant to be successful. Was there a reason to negate the ability to exchange that for like a monument sign, or was that, was signage on the building what was requested?
So they have limited
Signage.
frontage that is going to be landscape, and they didn't want a monument sign. So just limiting the one to one sign on the building gives them even more visibility than what a monument sign would do. The way that the building is located on the property allows for people to see that sign.
Thank you, sir. I just wanted to confirm that the opportunity was given to the applicant. Thank you.
Any more questions at all? Hearing none, having none, thank you very much, sir. I'll now open the public hearing. I have one card. Does the applicant want to speak? Is this card Mr. Bareka? Are you the applicant?
Good evening. My name is Sam Boraki. I'm the agent for the applicant.
And your address, sir?
5267 Greenwich Road, Virginia Beach.
Yes, sir.
My client has purchased this property a few years ago, a couple years ago. It's been vacant for a while. And as Saul mentioned, that used to be an alignment center, a car repair center. My client is in business of installing tires and sell tires. He has 7 locations throughout the Tidewater area, and he's looking to expand his business to Newport News. So he purchased this property. As it stands, based on the current zoning, he could sell tires in there, but he cannot install them because as Saul mentioned, the prior, that require a conditional use permit because the prior use has been over 2 years vacant. So that's why we coming before you tonight or this evening to ask for a conditional use permit to allow him to sell and operate and install tires and fix tires at this location. Part of what he's proposing is, what Sal has mentioned, is we're gonna close the southern portion, southern entrance on the property and remove the existing concrete and put in the new put sidewalk where the entrance is, and then behind it install the landscape buffer, which shown on the site plans presented. Then go back to the north entrance and fix it to meet the city standard and VDOT standard, will be 40 feet wide. Then go inside the property, add some additional landscape, interior landscaping, and restripe some of the parking, add a little bit of pavement in order to meet the parking requirement of the City of Newport News. The signs, as you mentioned, I talked to my client briefly about that, actually, a lot about it. And he said the sign doesn't mean anything to him as long as he has the sign on the building that's more visible than a monument sign, because we're putting landscaping in front of it. So if you do a regular sign, monument sign, you won't be able to see it. So a building sign is more appropriate for his business. So he really didn't care about, even though currently there is a pylon sign on the property, so he's okay without having a sign on the business. With that, I respectfully request that you recommend approval based on staff recommendation and based on what we presented to City Council, and I will stand by to answer any question.
Thank you very much, sir. Any questions for Mr. Baraka? Hearing none. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
If there's no one else in the audience that wants to speak on behalf of this one, I will now close the public hearing and the matters before the commission.
Chairperson Taylor, I recommend adoption per the planning department CU-2025-0004 that moves forward, recommended for the commercial uses stated to City Council.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Please call roll.
There's discussion?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You ready?
Yes, it's been one of those. Any further discussion or comments?
I just have a really quick question. Is this really how the property line goes? Yeah. Wow. So there's a house that's
Diagonally cut in half.
well, I know, I mean, there's a house that's, I mean,
It's a pump house.
it's a pump house.
It's a pump.
Oh, that's the pump house, that's right.
Yeah.
But that's really how the property line goes.
That's why it's
Okay.
only green space back there now.
Okay.
7-Eleven.
Can't build anything on it. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, seeing none. Please call roll.
Commissioner Woodard,
4.
Commissioner Williams,
4.
Commissioner Shook,
4.
Commissioner Stadchill,
4.
Commissioner Dias,
4.
Commissioner Black,
4.
Commissioner Bowditch,
4.
Commissioner Taylor.
4.
Motion unanimous, 8-0.
Thank you very much. This
sir.
matter will be heard by City Council at August the 12th. The August 12th meeting. Thank you all for coming and thank you for the presentation. The next item on the agenda is Executive Secretary report that will be coming from our very own Ms. Sheila McAllister.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Oh, you all have had a busy summer.
Yes, I have.
It's not over yet.
Not over yet.
On June 10th, City Council approved the conditional use permit for the operation of the fueling station for Costco.
Okay.
And then on June 17th, the Board of Zoning Appeals approved the 2 special exceptions for development on non-conforming lots of record. Now, upcoming, on August 6th, Camp Morrison comes back to you for you
Okay.
all to make a decision and send it on forward to City Council. You also will have a nightclub at 605 Pilot House Drive. And then we have some zoning amendments based on changes to the state code.
That's all August 6th?
All that is on August 6th.
All right.
So
Yeah, well-
hopefully you all will be present for that meeting.
Yes. So we've had a work session on that, and you guys need to be present.
Okay. I also like to welcome, I'm going to try to say the full name, Kamatuchi Okiki. Was I close? She's known by Tochi.
Tochi.
Yes. She's new to our department. She is a new planner in the office and current planning division, so she will be before you presenting cases. Maybe at the next meeting, I don't know. But she holds a bachelor's degree from CNU, Chapel Hill, and oh, sorry. I changed the alphabets. UNC Chapel Hill
Okay.
in African American Studies and Diaspora Studies. And she just completed her master's degree in urban and regional planning from Georgetown University. So welcome her aboard.
Welcome.
We're happy to have her.
Welcome.
Congratulations, Newport News.
Yes. Welcome, and I'd like to apologize now. But you know what I'm going to say
He
next.
is gonna mess your name
I'm
up.
going to mess your name up.
Even if it's John Smith.
I
Right.
apologize.
Right. Practice now. Answer her name now.
He's an alpha. Is that all, sir? Ma'am?
That is it.
Thank you so very, very much. But I would like to add emphasis to August the 6th. Collectively, we need to make it on our calendar. If we can make that happen, we need to be here. This is one of those ones we've moved around the road and up the schedule and down. So let's have this conversation. Okay? The next item on the agenda is committee reports.
The Regulations Committee met earlier today. A good deal of what we're talking about deals with modifications to state regulations and how it affects our ordinance, which some of those we will see, as she said, August 6th. And we can continue our discussion about ice vending locations in the
Great.
city.
Anything else? Anyone else? Commissioner Black, you have a meeting coming up soon, correct?
We do, tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. And elaborate on that. That meeting is for,
It's the Jefferson Avenue area between
the corridor.
Mercury Boulevard and J. Claude.
Roger that. So he'll be reporting back on that at our next commission. Thank you again for standing in for us, sir. Next item is unfinished business. Having none. Any new business? Yeah. See you guys in August. I will now declare the meeting adjourned.